Now let's go to News 6 anchor Justin Warmoth with the Weekly.
This is the Weekly on clickorlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
It's been 3 years.
Apparently they were trying to get to some fresh water. One followed the next one, follow the next one, follow the next one.
Since the 4-square-mile city of Satellite Beach was the epicenter of news.
That night, BBC contacted me, the Tokyo Times contacted me.
19 manatees stuck in a storm drain.
You're talking about a log jam. That's really what we had in this pipe.
With the world watching, rescuers made it happen.
I think everybody did a fantastic job.
And while those sea cows were saved, January's freeze was not kind to the gentle giants.
Cold stress is like hypothermia in a human, and this animal is either going to suffer severely or die.
Glad to have you with us this morning on the Weekly. I'm Justin Warmoth. In January alone, 87 manatees were found dead across Florida, 35 from cold stress. Those staggering numbers follow one of the worst years on record. News 6 and clickorlando.com reported on 538 manatee deaths in the state in 2017, with red tide, boat strikes, and cold stress as the leading contributors. This morning, we'll be talking with SeaWorld Rescue about the new numbers and what they do to save as many sea cows as they can. I also stopped by their rehabilitation facility to get a first-hand look at some of the work they do to save the threatened species. But first, a trip down memory lane. February 23rd marked 3 years since the incredible rescue of 19 manatees that were stuck in a Satellite Beach storm drain. The rescue lasting upwards of 12 hours, and for those who worked and watched it all happen, the anniversary brought back quite the memories.
We want to take you back to our breaking news that's happening in Satellite Beach, and that is where as many as 15 manatees are trapped in a drainage ditch.
News 6 was on the scene shortly after the news broke.
Apparently they were trying to get to some fresh water. One followed the next one, follow the next one, follow the next one.
Anchor Ginger Gadsden and myself giving play-by-play of the rescue to not only viewers in Central Florida, but around the world.
This was the first one they pulled out.
In 2013, I was working in our Brevard County Bureau as a reporter, and because I live so close, less than a mile away, I was able to get there before first responders shut down Casilla Boulevard.
We were just out because it was a nice evening and saw all kinds of flashing lights and knew something big was going on.
John Bird was one of the hundreds who gathered to watch the rescue in person.
When you hear 19 manatees were stuck in a storm drain just down the street from your house, what do you think?
Couldn't imagine it. You know, we're actually from New Jersey, and all our kids are up there, and our kids were calling us and saying, what the heck is going on? Isn't this right around the corner from you? And I said, yeah, this is happening right around the corner. And it was really an incredible effort.
Bird and the other spectators were very supportive of the rescue as well, cheering after each manatee was lifted from the drain.
When you were watching the rescue happen, what was the feeling like? Was it excitement? Was it worry?
A little bit of both. I mean, you know, of course we wanted to see the manatees be safe and get out safely, because it was certainly an unfortunate situation which nobody would have expected. But it was exciting at the same time. I mean, you know, you worried for them, but it was like, wow, look at this coordination that's taking place here. And
something that never happens, and to have the coordination and to know what to do, that says something.
It does say something, yeah. It says that people have good hearts, they care, and that, you know, when a catastrophe or something strikes, people will do the right thing and pull together and find a way.
The coordination was a combination of Florida Fish and Wildlife, City Works, SeaWorld Rescue, and the Satellite Beach Fire Department. Fire Chief Don Hughes.
What were you doing when you get that crazy call?
Well, if I remember the night correctly, I had already left the office and was at dinner with my wife, and I saw the call come in for a manatee rescue, which is not uncommon for us. But as the moments continued to progress, we realized that this wasn't just one manatee, there were more.
While the chief admits his department doesn't directly train for this type of rescue, they do prepare for something similar.
We train to get a human out of that hole, not a 1,500-pound mammal. So the typical rescue equipment that we would have used for a human obviously was not going to work in this particular case. But that's where we start putting our thinking caps on, and we start asking ourselves the question, what resources do we have that can lift up a 1,500-pound object?
When it came to those resources, the city had the right construction equipment, but getting the sea cows out safely and back into the nearby Indian River Lagoon, well, that was when a different resource came in. John Peterson and the SeaWorld rescue team.
You know, you're talking about a log jam. That's really what we had in this pipe. We've got manatees that can only swim forward, and they followed each other up this pipe, and they went head to tail as tight as they could until the pipe got too small that they couldn't move anymore.
When you think about rescuing 19 manatees, it doesn't come by just repetition, experience. This is something that you kind of learn as you go and pick up on little things. Talk about the process of getting manatees out of a storm drain and then into a body of water where they're supposed to be.
There's one simple part of this is we've got to make it really safe. So doing this isn't quick, it's not fast, it's something that we'll methodically work through the situation and find the safest route to go. In this case, it's cutting the pipe open. Instead of going up in the pipe and trying to pull manatees out backwards, which really isn't safe to even do, we actually cut out the road, cut out the pipe, had City Works lift it off for us, and then we made what we call a chute. We put a piece of wood there, let one manatee into the stretcher, pick them up, move them over to a health assessment area, get them assessed, and from there, relocate them right back in natural waters. More than less 400 yards away, put them on the other side of the road, and they were good to go.
Would you say you were surprised that 19 manatees were A, in the storm drain, and B, rescued safely?
You know, 19 in a storm drain's really an odd thing. It's really weird. We don't see it. It's a first time. It's a one-off, whatever you want to call it. Then to be able to rescue them all and relocate them without having to bring them back to SeaWorld, that's a really good night. It was a long night, but a really good night. SeaWorld's entire goal is to rescue, rehabilitate, and return. And when we can do all that in one final spot and get them right back out, that's exactly what we want.
And for Chief Hughes, that's the main takeaway. Because if there was one hiccup during the rescue, we may not be talking about a survival rate of 100%.
I think that there was a little bit of providence going on. For the worst situation to occur, we had the right circumstances for it to occur under. And, you know, we are very thankful. But I'm going to be honest with you, if we really thought that those manatees were in danger of losing their lives immediately, the city would have spared no expense to do everything we need to do. And that is that if we had to rip up a mile of road, we would rip up a mile of road.
After 3 years, there is still one big unknown. Why did this happen? Some put the blame on FWC for allowing the manatees to seek refuge there. Others say it's the city's fault for not having a grate in front of the pipe. One thing is for sure, though. Satellite Beach and sea cows will always be synonymous.
And still today, I have people saying, Satellite Beach, aren't you the guys that rescued the sea cows? And I'm going, of all the things to be known for, that's it?
Could be worse though, right?
I would rather be that, something positive than something negative, so yes.
It really was an incredible night. Still hard to believe that all 19 were safely returned to the Indian River Lagoon just a few hours later with nothing but a few scrapes. Unfortunately, though, 2017 and the beginning of 2018 have not been kind to Florida manatees. Coming up, John Peterson with SeaWorld Rescue will break down the troubling numbers and what's to blame. Keep it here.
It's something earned day after day through good times and bad. It's something proven by pinpointing every storm, every threat. It's when you know you can depend on someone to put your safety first. And it's why people trust Pinpoint Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells, proven to be here every day to make sure you're safe and you're ready. News 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells, getting results.
You know, at Perkins, value is always in season. Feast your eyes on our Great Plates menu, a never-ending landscape of delicious dishes, just $4 to $8. It's great food at great prices that feeds the whole family, only at Perkins.
My mom and I were hit head-on by a reckless driver, and we were both seriously injured.
Later that day, I called 4 law firms, and I decided to go with attorney Dan Newland. From the very beginning, Dan and his attorneys were very concerned about our well-being and very dedicated to our case. And at the end, Dan recovered $400,000 for my injury case, and I am very grateful.
And Dan got me $200,000 for my injury case, and I'm very ecstatic.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 407-888-8000.
At Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Kissimmee and Claremont, we have huge savings on every vehicle in stock. And during Ram Truck Month, lease new Ram trucks for as low as $299 a month with only $299 down. That's right, brand new Ram trucks for just $299 a month with only $299 down. How about Chrysler 200s from $16,900 or new Pacificas from just $269 a month? We must make room for our new inventory arriving daily. Come to Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today.
With amazing foods and over 100 different beers and wines, this Food and Wine Festival has serious bite. And it's only at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Dive into adventure. Enjoy inspired tastes from across the globe, concerts from every genre, and a tequila chaser, too. See Edwin McCain, Sister Hazel, Grupo Nietzsche, The Fray, and more. Weekends March 3rd through April 29th. Buy a Busch Gardens Fun Card and get an Adventure Island Fun Card free. Hurry, offer ends March 25th.
You know, at Perkins, value is always in season. Feast your eyes on our Great Plates menu, a never-ending landscape of delicious dishes just $4 to $8. It's great food at great prices that feeds the whole family, only at Perkins.
This is The Weekly on clickorlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
This morning on The Weekly, manatees dying at an alarming rate in January. 87 deaths statewide, 35 blamed on cold stress. That's 5 times as many as last January. The rough start to the year, adding to a deadly 2017. So I went to SeaWorld to find out more about the challenges manatees are facing. Behind the scenes at SeaWorld Orlando, a rehabilitation facility dedicated to Florida's marine life. The 5-acre rescue center, which is now open to the public, treats ill, injured, or orphaned sea turtles, birds, and, of course, manatees. At the center, you'll see some sea cows with cuts and bruises from boat strikes, others dealing with illness from red tide, and orphan babies getting the proper nutrition.
Cold stress. I've got boat impacts.
And when he isn't rescuing marine life, Animal Care Supervisor John Peterson is there as well.
You could take everything that a manatee can possibly get into, and because SeaWorld's one of the largest rehab facility in the U.S., we're going to have it.
But early this year, cold stress is the leading contributor. January's Arctic chill killing 35 manatees statewide.
It's been a year. Manatees have had really good successes in some ways, and we've had some real challenges. And one of the challenges we hit this year is the weather. This cold weather that comes in and then leaves and goes warm, and this isn't only in Florida. This is across the entire eastern seaboard. We've responded to manatees up in South Carolina. We've responded to calls that are down in South Florida. This cold weather that comes and leaves and comes and leaves is really hard for a manatee to know it's supposed to go home to a warm water source.
Although they look blubbery, manatees actually have very little body fat. Most of their bulk is dedicated to muscle and internal organs, and that makes them very sensitive to cold water. That's why you'll often see them cluster around natural springs or warmer canals when temperatures drop.
You look at a natural spring is going to come out somewhere between 72, 73 degree water. That's what a manatee needs to survive. Now, if you take that and you take a manatee that is small and you put them into cold water, let's say just to give a temperature in the 60s, that animal is very quickly going to get into cold stress.
Just last month, researchers counted more than 6,000 manatees in Florida. But that number isn't necessarily indicative of a healthy population. According to FWC, 2013 spiked with 830 total deaths, but last year's total of 538 was the most since then and the third highest in history. 155 of those happening in Central Florida waterways, too. Brevard County saw the most deaths by far, with a total of 111. 12 from cold stress, 13 from boat strikes, and 55 were undetermined. Volusia County ranked third in Florida, with only 1 coming from cold stress, 13 from boat strikes, and another 13 were undetermined. January 2018, though, was deadlier than the first month of any of the previous 5 years. 87 total deaths, 35 from cold stress.
Cold stress is like hypothermia in a human. Outer extremities are going to shut down. They're going to start pulling their blood back to their core organs to stay warm. And this animal is either going to suffer severely or die. One of the two is going to happen very fast with them.
Peterson says another contributing factor last year was red tide, which was especially bad in Gulf Coast waterways.
Once you're in a red tide, these manatees literally are in a life and death situation. The toxins react very quickly. It's very easy to reverse. Get them into clean water, get them into clean air and clean food, and you can reverse that toxin. But red tides are interesting because they come and they go. And they're devastating if they get in the right spot. They can knock a population really fast and kill a population. But that is something that from now until probably the ends of Earth, red tide's always going to be there, and we're always going to have to figure out how is the best way to handle it and how we can help these animals the quickest.
Just last year, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service made a controversial move. reclassifying manatees from endangered to threatened. Some called the delisting a milestone. Others said it was premature because of possible regulation cuts, including those that protect water quality. While cold stress and red tide are serious dangers, boat strikes are as well. In fact, 2016 and 2017 tied for the most strikes ever recorded. But Peterson says only a handful of Florida boaters are responsible.
You know, you've got a lot of waterways in Florida, and you got a lot of great people out there that are having a lot of fun in their boats. And when you mix boats, waters, and manatees, you're going to have accidents. There's two parts of this that really people don't get. One, it's the boaters out there that are calling us about these manatees when they're injured. They find them. They're 90% to 99% of all people out there on their boats are doing everything right. They're looking to see how they can help. They find a manatee, they call it in. There's that small percentage that maybe don't follow those wake zones and they run into a manatee. That's not our biggest challenges. You know, the challenge is that we're growing into our waterways. We are covering our waterways with docks and boats and people, and we've got to learn how to live in conjunction with the animals in that waterway, not just have the fun we want, but remember everything that's underneath that water.
Peterson says it's hard to predict what 2018 will bring when it comes to manatee population, even after the record death toll in January. But he says his team will be there whenever they're called to rescue Florida's most docile mammal.
What's it like when you're able to return an animal back into the water?
I'll tell you, I mean, I say this all the time. One of the best days you can ever have in my job is when you've hand-raised a baby manatee and you've been able to return it back out, and you hear later that it had a baby of its own, or it's out doing really well eating with a group for the males. You know, that's the best day. I mean, I have that luxury. I've got a lot of bad days where we get animals that are really hurt, that can't make it, or we have to make a decision to help them that's not the easy one. But those days when you get to walk out on there and you let that animal go and you know it's going to do well and you hear later how good it's doing, it's a perfect reason. I'll give you a quick story. You know, we had a manatee named Georgia that we rescued back in 1996 from Brunswick, Georgia. That's how she got her name. We rehabbed her as a baby manatee, returned her back to her natural environment at Blue Springs State Park. And for the next 14 years, she had 6 of her own calves, and 3 of those calves had calves. If you want a really cool day, get a number like that because you had your hands on an animal that was dying, and now it put 9 back into a population of 5,500 at the time. That's a good day at work.
And at last check, February statistics have not been released, but with the warmest February ever in Central Florida, researchers say cold stress-related deaths have certainly dropped. We will keep you updated. Now, coming up this week, we're also staying on top of the federal trial of Noor Salman, the wife of Pulse nightclub gunman Omar Mateen. Jury selection started Thursday and continues tomorrow, but it could take quite some time before a jury is seated. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest tells us why.
This case could come down to one juror who takes control of the jury. Tell me about her.
In the CBS TV series Bull, Michael Weatherly plays Dr. Jason Bull, a psychologist who studies prospective jurors to understand how their minds work.
Dr. Bull profiles every juror, their behavioral patterns, what they click on, likes, avoidances. Then we create a mirror jury and run mock trials. Dr. Bull knows how they'll vote even before they do.
Real-life jury consultants may not have the same high-tech tools as Dr. Bull, but they are frequently used in court, including the upcoming trial of Noor Salman, the wife of the Pulse nightclub gunman. Federal prosecutors notified the judge that they've contracted with a consulting firm to assist with the review of the jury questionnaires and conduct searches of public records and social media.
I know in my heart I could have been an honest juror.
This prospective juror was booted from the jury pool during George Zimmerman's trial 4 years ago after defense attorneys discovered this Facebook post discussing Trayvon Martin's death. The juror previously wrote, "Justice is coming," and called the Sanford Police Department corrupt.
If the only charge was first-degree murder, who here would vote to acquit Casey Anthony of first-degree murder?
Several months before Casey Anthony's trial began in 2011, jury consultant Richard Gabriel assembled this mock jury for the CBS program 48 Hours. The experiment accurately revealed that some jurors might have a tough time believing Anthony murdered her daughter.
I think it was accidental.
I think it was accidental.
Accidental how, though? What happened?
However, unlike the real jury, most of this panel thought Anthony was guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
So you can see why picking a jury will certainly be difficult, especially with 650 prospective jurors to sift through. News 6 and ClickOrlando.com has everything you need to know about this case. Head to ClickOrlando.com/Noor Salman trial right now to read the latest updates from the federal courthouse. And 3 times a day, News 6's cast of legal experts will join us for a live stream discussion. Those sessions happening at 8:30, 12:30, and 6:30.
Also on ClickOrlando.com, last week, News 6 anchor Matt Austin traveled to Tallahassee in our push to drive change and make texting and driving a primary offense. It passed in the House, but it won't go to a vote in the Senate, and that's because it's being blocked by one senator. Here's Matt's exchange with State Senator Rob Bradley.
So tell me, all right, why are you killing the texting and driving bill in the Appropriations Committee?
Well, let me say, first of all, Matt, you communicated with me personally, and I appreciate the concern you have about this issue. I'm sorry that you had this incident occur where you got injured. And let me first say that distracted driving while you're texting is dangerous. It can even be deadly. And every Floridian should take personal responsibility and not do so.
And that's not the only thing. We're watching as session comes to an end next Tuesday. Gun control on the local, state, and national level continues to be a hotly contested debate. We'll be watching to see if any legislation is passed in Florida.
That'll do it for us this morning on The Weekly. Remember, for the latest news, weather, and traffic updates anytime, just head to ClickOrlando.com. I'm Justin Wormuth. Have a great Sunday.